So this is what a SaltRiver 23 hull looks like right before it comes out of the mold. We're here with Rob Young. Rob is the owner of Young Boats and the head designer on all of these different boats that you see up here and all the different boats that I've ever owned, but he's done a phenomenal job of building some great boats that really have let us kind of expand our fishing opportunities in Shidler River on the inshore side.
The SaltRiver 23, our goal was, really one goal is to excel in local waters. We wanted a boat that could run shallow but not compromise rough water capabilities. So, as you know, in these waters, it's a challenging environment. I would say you need precision, you need maneuverability, you need to run shallow, but you need to do all that without sacrificing rough water running.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what we wanted out of this boat. The ability to run in 1 and 2 foot chop, which is plenty for what we have around here with our shallow water, but still being able to run in sub 4 inches of water with a load.
Yeah,
that's a big piece of this boat. And in just a second here, we're going to be pulling this boat out of the mold and you'll be able to see the hull bottom, but it's a really cool design. And we're not saying that we're the first people by any means to build a shallow water catamaran. They've been around in Texas for a long time. There's a lot of different companies that build great shallow water cats, but ours, that maybe where it's a little bit different, is the fact that we have a lot more freeboard.
Right.
I mean, we're standing in the hull right now and it hits you just below the knee here in midship. And that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted to build a bigger boat that would run shallow and still handle a chop. And that's kind of exactly what this boat's going to do for us.
Exactly. And we build them a lot like our Gulf Shore, the same construction techniques. It's a proven design, a proven construction process. You can see it's all composite. Big rigging pod where we'll fit the fuel tank, we'll fit batteries, we'll fit chargers, everything in this big, huge rigging pod. You can see the big dry storage area up front here. This customer's getting a front bait well, so we left that open. So modular deck construction like we do on the Gulf Shores helps us, be a little flexible in the layouts, and post-finish, exterior finish with speckle or grit.
My boat that we just looked at up at Building 4, that's almost completed, that boat is got the grit finish, which is kind of the top tier of finishes that you can choose from when you're laying out your boat. Speckle finish, which has been around forever. I mean, so many boat builders use it. That would be more of an economical, cheaper option, for lack of better words, and will still give you great, grip retention as far as on the bottom of your shoes. And it's also really easy to clean. So that's another great option that comes with the speckle finish.
Yep.
But that's kind of it. The front deck is actually laying right over there against the wall, but you can take a look when you're building your boat. You can take a look at every puzzle piece. You can come up here and take a look at it. And that's kind of a really cool part of building a custom boat. If you wanted your front deck a little smaller, we can build it a little smaller. If you want it a little bigger, we can build it a little bigger. If you want to put a bait well in it, like my dad's doing in this boat, you can have a bait well in the front deck. So that's kind of a big piece of Young Boats. It's a true custom boat, and they really do work with you and what you're looking for to get out of your boat. I tell a lot of people, and a lot of my customers have built Young Boats, there's a very high chance it's going to be the last boat you ever build unless you build another Young.
Right.
So kind of the hallmark of what gives this boat its shallow running capability is this tunnel. And Rob designed a really good tunnel. It's a compression tunnel coming from the front to the back. So those sponsons are wide up front and they grab water and they lift it and they bring it to the back of the boat, raising it all the way up. And this boat will maintain full tunnel pressure, allowing you to have your entire lower unit up under the hull bottom. Your skeg is gonna run almost level with the bottom of the hull and still maintaining the ability for the motor to pick up water and propel you forward as well as staying cool. So that's kind of a big piece, and that's why Rob designed the tunnel this way.
Right. It was the tunnel design that, as you could imagine, has a lot of variables. There's trim angle, there's transom height, there's center of gravity, there's flow and redirection of water. So with all those variables at place, there's a lot of computer software out now that you can model running this boat at different speeds, at different trim angles, and seeing how much of the lower unit is in the water at certain speeds. And I tell you what, it was very accurate when we designed this one, of what the computer said it was going to do to real world, what it did. So we hit a good design with this bottom. A lot of companies can make a boat run shallow. That's pretty a straightforward task. but to make it run shallow and not lose rough water capability is kind of a harder task. One thing we had going for us is we knew the waters we were running in, and we knew what we were up against and what we had to run in, and we knew kind of the load, how many people, how much fuel, kind of the platform of the boat, what we wanted to achieve, and just to marry in all those variables was the trick. So we go up to the front, we can show you what we did up front. We add a little bit of V to the hulls, which helps us run soft.
So coming up here to the front of the boat, we've got both of the sponsons. You can see we've got a nice sharp entry, and that's what Rob was talking about, being able to maintain that soft ride and, you know, light chop to moderate chop. You know, we're not building a boat that's gonna go out in 3 to 5 foot seas by any means, but we want a boat that'll run good in what we would call a bay chop, 1 to 2, stuff like that. You know, the afternoon sea breeze kicks up and you got to run home in a little bit of chop, you're going to be comfortable. But Rob's going to talk here a little bit about how we added this center V in here just to kind of soften it up a little bit.
Yeah, one thing with catamarans that you hear of is, you know, some slamming in between the tunnels and some sneezing that could happen, blowing that spray back over. So we did a couple things in the center. We added a little bit of V, a little bit of dead rise that really breaks up that head sea, that 1.5 foot chop Clay was talking about, that really softens that ride. And when it throws that water back, we returned a little lip here that doesn't look like a whole lot, but it definitely knocks down any sneezing or any spray that would blow back over the deck of the boat. So those two things really worked out well for us in the center of the tunnel.
So we have that sharp entry in the front, and if we'll show you the bottom of this hull, but as it goes further back, it transitions into 0 degree dead rise in the back, which you saw in the back when we were showing you the tunnel. But that's kind of the big thing is, you know, a key part of this boat was where do we make the transition? How far back do we maintain that sharp entry? Where do we start to make the transition so that we get good handling? Because if it's flat all the way forward, we're going to lose some handling, and we're also going to have a boat that's not going to ride very well. But being able to, you know, really kind of use a lot of that computer software to kind of figure out where the right place to start making the transition, to start flattening out, you know, that was a big piece in this boat, and Rob did a really good job.
Yeah, I would say, you know, any amount of dead rise, you know, takes away from your displacement and draft. So we wanted to make that transition to flat as soon as possible to get our draft numbers where we want them to be. But, you know, like Clay said, any flatness, you know, sacrifices ride. So it was a fine line of where to transition this sharp entry. You know, this is out of the water when you're running at high speed, so it wasn't affecting our displacement at all, but it was doing a lot for us for an impacting head chop. So another thing we wanted to be aware of, you know, this boat is, people are going to run this boat on ground. I mean, that's just the nature of it. It's where these guys are fishing. So they're going to be running this boat to extreme shallow conditions and running them within inches of water. So we knew we wanted to keep that back flat. And when we do have to make a repair or add gel coat to a bottom that's worn down, which happens around here if you're in the right areas, it's going to happen. So it will make any kind of future repairs or adding gel coat or adding thickness to the back real easy to do because everything's flat. There's no hard lines. There's no V that we have to work around.
So if you're interested in the SaltRiver 23 or any of the different bay boats or offshore boats that Young Boats has to offer, give Young a call. Give me a call. We'll get you pointed in the right direction. We'll show you a lot of different options, how you can set your boat up. You tell us what you're looking to get out of the boat and we'll find a way to get you there. They're phenomenal boats and the customization is a huge aspect of them.